Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're getting a slight late start, but we've got some really good stuff to show you today. We're going to talk about creating safe recipes, cooking with style. This is Shelley Feist. I'm Executive Director of the Partnership for Food Safety Education, and it's our great pleasure to be with you. We are really feeling a lot of interest about safe recipes, and particularly with such an overwhelming increase in people cooking at home. So thanks for being with us, because you play an important role, both in advocating the Safe Recipe Style Guide and in using it. I'm Shelley Feist, Executive Director. Katie Weston is with us today, and she's going to talk later about a terrific new tool we have developed that we think you'll really love that goes with the Safe Recipe Style Guide. Next, please. Also with us today is David Fikes. He's Executive Director of the FMI Foundation. FMI and the Foundation have been fantastic supporters of consumer food safety education for many years now. And David's going to talk to you about what they're doing with National Family Meals Month, which is in September, and which I know many of you are very active in and always have an interest in. So that's part of what we'll cover today. Next. So we'll talk about safe recipes. We'll talk about what we're doing, and I'm inviting you in chat to throughout tell us about what you do with safe recipes. We'll talk about what we mean by that and also how you can get involved. Food Safety Education Month is September. Many of you are probably having to pivot on your programming because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the fact that so many in-person connections you may make in previous years are not going to happen in the same way. So both Food Safety Education Month and Family Meals Month, we're going to make sure you have some links and ideas for what you might do virtually, through email, or through other programming. And we're going to talk about our big initiative for developing more safe recipes and engaging you, the folks who are our lead health and food safety educators, through a 30-minute meals safe recipe contest. So we'll show you a little bit about how to use the Safe Recipe Style Guide. We have covered this before, but there's so much interest. And also, we wanted to see how, or show you how it relates to the contest. We've got a whole new page, redesigned page with all of our safe recipes, which is a resource for you. And then we'll talk about some health messaging and downloadable resources to promote safe meal prep at home, both for National Family Meals Month and for Food Safety Education Month. Little bit about housekeeping. We welcome your questions. We welcome questions. We welcome chat. Anything you want to tell us. What's been very hard, we only have these online channels, really. So feel free. We haven't had a webinar, I don't think, since pandemic started. So this is a chance for us to hear from you. After the webinar, we always send a brief survey, and your feedback is so important to us. It helps us improve our webinars. So if you would fill that out, that would be great. CEUs, I know, are very important to many of you. The certificates, I believe, are here as a handout. So really think about accessing it right here at the handout section on the right. Download them right now. They'll also be in the follow-up email. And then once this webinar goes up as a recorded webinar, you can download them there. We won't be able to answer individual requests for the certificates. So those are the 3 ways you can get them. We are going to give away a prize today. So at the end of the webinar, we'll have a drawing, and the prize is we will take your recipe and edit it to become a safe recipe. We'll do that work for you, And we especially want to encourage you to enter the contest. So this saves you one step, and you must be present to win. So hang on to the end of the webinar and you may win our prize. We're going to go into a poll question. We're going to ask you, if somebody asked you, could you explain what a safe recipe is? And we'll leave this open for about 30 seconds and see what everybody says. Are you a backfighting rock star? You maybe need to learn more about safe recipes, or this is the first time you've checked in on this. So please take the poll. If you're multitasking, you may not see it on the screen. It's a lot of fun to hear from you guys. All right, Michelle can show us the results. Oh, excellent. We have a lot of backfighting rock stars on, and we have some folks who are new to the topic, so that is a great combo. Thank you all for taking the poll. So the journey to safer recipes really stems, there's sort of two paths. One was that we had the great gift of some increase in observational research, including some important research done by Tennessee State University. And then another path was that we and our federal agencies partners and many of you had done a lot of thinking about how do we better integrate food safety into the actual act of, preparing a meal so that it's not so separate. So that's kind of what was happening in this journey to get to the idea of what a safe recipe might be. Next. And then there was, yes, the publication of research by Dr. Sandra Godwin, Tennessee State University, Edgar Chambers with Kansas State University, a very large project that was funded by the USDA National Institutes for Food and Agriculture, published in the Journal of Food Protection. They published multiple studies. The one we'll focus on here, and that you can see here and pull up if you're interested, is on recipe modification, improving food safety practices during the cooking of poultry. So this became the basis of the idea that a recipe with food safety prompts would increase consistency of behavior in the kitchen in some important areas. Next. So then the idea developed. I want to give some credit to Sue Bora, who was at FMI Foundation at the time too, about creating a standard for how recipes were written to include food safety prompts or instructions. Could be a powerful way to better equip consumers on food safety at home. And then really getting the word out, educating recipe developers and publishers about the value of adopting this new standard, by talking about the research and the results, which we'll get into next. So these are just two of the points from the research, but they're quite powerful ones. And I think especially when we think about other infectious diseases and the need for hand washing compliance, this is a powerful data point that without safety instructions in the recipe, about 59% of people were washing their hands without that specific instruction. But when you add the prompt to wash hands with soap and water, 90% of people wash their hands with that instruction in the recipe. And thermometer use also even more overwhelming. Most of us who have been working in food safety know that use of food thermometers hovers around 20%, sometimes less. So without that written into a recipe, about 20% of people will use a food thermometer for endpoint cooking temperature. But with that instruction in the recipe, 86% of people used a thermometer in this this research that was conducted by Tennessee State. So these are the powerful data points that underlie this idea of providing tools that help people make a recipe, a basic recipe, a safe recipe. Next. So it's a way to make food safety easy. You know, I don't know if it's so much even easy as to have it better integrated with the act of cooking. Now, not everybody uses a recipe, but as I say, how powerful would it be if every consumer recipe started with wash hands with soap and water? It's a great thing to aspire to, and you all can be a very powerful part of making this happen. Next. So at saferecipeguide.org, you will find on the left, that is the guide. It's one page, and it was developed for simplicity, and it was developed with experts from academia, the government, to be as simple as possible. It doesn't include every food safety step that consumers should do in the kitchen, but it hits on those points of risk where we can make the most difference. The temperature chart is also a part of the saferecipeguide.org. So if you go to that website, you can get both of these things and download them. I want to acknowledge the support of the FMI Foundation. Without them, we would not have the Safe Recipe Style Guide. And they helped fund the process that led us to a guide that was agreed to by scientific experts and also was vetted with food journalists and food writers. So thanks to FMI Foundation, and I'll have a chance in a bit here to talk to David a little more. Next up, I think Katie is going to talk about the exciting new tool we're revealing today for you. Again, saferecipeguide.org is the site to go to for a lot more information about the guide, how it came to be, and to download graphics and the guide itself. So Katie Weston, our community engagement manager, is here with us today, and she's going to talk about the new tool for young people.
Thank you, Shelley. Hi, everyone. We have a brand new resource for you. It's a safe recipe lesson for middle school students, and it has been reviewed by a curriculum specialist, which was really awesome. This is a guide that walks students through how they can build a safe recipe with the Safe Recipe Guide that Shelley was just speaking to us about. So next slide. The teacher's guide for this includes a lesson plan, an activity guide, and all the objectives that you need. It's also aligned with one National Science Health Education Standard and 4 different National Health Education Standards. And the packet for teachers includes a kids version of the Safe Recipe Style Guide, the Safe Minimum Internal Temperatures chart, which they need for the guide, and 5 new sample recipes that they can use with this lesson. The student's guide, next slide, includes an activity guide that walks them through what they need to do, also a copy of the style guide and the temperatures chart, and basic versions of the recipes. And by that I mean there aren't safety steps already included in those. Next slide. We have some images here of the recipes, of 3 of the recipes for you to look at. The teacher's guide does have the recipes included with the safety steps so that you can see what they should look like when the students are done adding those steps. This lesson could be used with the 5 recipes that we've included, but students could also be encouraged to bring favorite recipes from home, and they could use those with the lesson plan and walk through the process of adding safety steps to those. And there is a link to an interactive quiz at the end of the lesson, so students can go to that quiz with their recipe, and it will help them make sure that they've included everything that they need to include and give them a little bit of food safety information too. Next. The lesson currently is only available just to you as a special handout. So please make sure you access that in the handouts section of the webinar. We wanted to give it to you first, but it will be available shortly on our website, on our featured page, and on the curricula and programs page. Next. We also want to give you a sneak peek. We've been working on an online interactive version of this lesson that will be available shortly. So here's a quick screenshot of what it will look like. Next. And you know, another quick screenshot. It's interactive, so they can walk through all of those steps as they go through this lesson online. So you'll want to make sure, if you're not already signed up for our e-list, please do that so you'll be notified when this is available. You can go to fightback.org, and if you scroll to the bottom of the home page, you can find the sign up there. So make sure you don't miss out on that. We also have created a video about how to build a safe recipe. So we're going to show that right now.
Maybe you're wondering, what is a safe recipe? A safe recipe incorporates basic food safety steps. So when you, or anyone, uses the recipe, you'll be reducing your risk of food poisoning. The Partnership for Food Safety Education's Safe Recipe Style Guide walks you through the process of writing a safe recipe. Let's use this family favorite as an example: Greek salad with yogurt lemon chicken. Before you write your recipe, be sure to have the Safe Recipe Style Guide handy. Multiple studies show that when cooks follow recipes incorporating basic food safety steps, they significantly increase food safety behaviors. Watch how easy it is. All you need to do is add the pre-written steps from the style guide. Not all the steps will fit your recipe, so use only the ones that do. The first step in any recipe is to wash hands with soap and water before beginning any food preparation. You should also add the hand washing step anytime you touch raw meat or poultry to avoid cross-contamination. Make sure to add a step on washing cutting boards, counters, and utensils after every time raw meats are used. Other steps you may need to add include not rinsing raw poultry or meats and not reusing marinades used on raw foods. Next step, rinse any uncut produce. Gently rub produce under cold running water. For firm produce like potatoes or cucumbers, scrub with a clean vegetable brush under running water. For the final step, make sure food is cooked to a safe internal temperature using a food thermometer. As you can see, it's really that simple. Be sure to review the recipe when you're done to verify you've added all the steps from the style guide. Once your safe recipe is finished, take a photo and go to fightback.org/recipe contest and enter to win. Winning entries will be used to create an online cookbook of safe recipes. Don't forget to use the steps from the style guide every time you write a recipe or prepare your meals. For more information about safe food handling and preventing food poisoning, check out fightback.org. Be sure to follow us. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Thank you, Katie. This is Shelley, and we're going to continue. That video will be available for you all also if you want to promote the idea of safe recipes with your own fields or your own staff. I'm really happy to have with us today David Fikes. He's now the head of the FMI Foundation, director of the foundation. David, I do want to just thank you for being an amazing collaborator with the Partnership for Food Safety Education, for supporting the Safe Recipe Style Guide. And I wanted to ask if there's anything you want to add about the Safe Recipe Style Guide before you start talking about family meals.
Hello, Shelley, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Great, thank you. Sorry, I had to dial back in every time that we were starting the video. It was kicking me out off of the phone, so I had to dial back in. My
Oh,
apologies for holding everyone up. Number one, I want to thank the partnership for the excellent work that they are doing in taking the safe recipe guide and taking it to a whole nother level. I love the work that is being done, bringing the school age folks involved and the teachers and trying to teach this. If it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a whole community to not only raise a child, but to take an idea like this and to get it integrated into everyone's behavior patterns. And so we are grateful for the partnership that we have with the Partnership for Food Safety Education and the work that they are doing on the safe recipe guides. And we're proud to be part of that. I want to speak to you for just a minute about the National Family Meals Month, which is in September. That is also Food Safety Month. It also happens to be Fruit and Vegetable Month. So a lot of things kind of come together in the month of September, including going back to school. And this year, as you can imagine, in the previous years of this campaign, our mantra has been urging food retailers and food suppliers to get their customers to commit to have one more family meal per week than they are currently having. And just to make that commitment to begin to live into the benefits of family meals and to understand that and experience it more deeply in the month of September. Obviously, because that's kind of been our theme for the past 5 years, COVID-19, just as it has changed almost every aspect of our lives and the way in which we interact, it's forced us to take a look at that message where it's a little bit ridiculous to be urging people to have one more meal with their family when every meal during COVID-19 seems to be a family meal, whether it's breakfast or lunch, dinner, or snacks. We're all eating those with our families. And so we are shifting our messaging a little bit to try to be more sensitive to the COVID-19 situation. And our mantra this year, our theme that we are working on is stay strong with family meals. And what we mean by that is obviously it can be implied or taken several ways, but to encourage families to continue the solid work that they have been doing during COVID-19 of having those family meals, overcoming that family meal fatigue that many of us are experiencing, and to live more deeply into the benefits of family meals even during COVID-19, and to stay strong with that commitment to have family meals, but also to stay strong because our research bears out that there is a direct relation between family meal frequency and the intake of fruits and vegetables. And so therefore that impulse that everyone has, which is that family meals are healthier, and some 90% of consumers tell us that they are understanding family meals to be healthier. There's not just a consumer impulse or a consumer perception. It is backed by science that family meals that are eaten more frequently together usually contain more fruits and veggies, and there's more fruit and vegetable intake during those family meals. And so we are urging people to stay strong with family meals by living more deeply into that notion that they are going to be healthier as a result. The science also bears out that there is a benefit to family meals in terms of family functioning. Family meals are not just good for the body, but they're also good for the spirit, in the sense that when we gather around the table together and meet at the point of our common need and share our lives together and talk about our days, we offer that kind of support that we also desperately need these days to support one another, to understand each other, to communicate better, and that sense of connectedness that happens around the family meal together is very important. And so there could not be a time when the messages of staying strong with family meals, both in terms of nutrition and the health that is involved in the family meal, and also the value of the family connectedness in a time of supporting one another, there could not be a time in the history of our nation when that message is more important for us to hear. A time when we want healthy bodies, but we also want healthy families and healthy spirits. There are several sub-themes to that notion of staying strong with family meals. Clearly, that as we commit to those, that family meals have always been one of the best healthy practices, again, for that notion of portion control, but also in the sense of fruit and veggie intake. The family meals obviously do help keep us connected. That's the sub-theme of the sub-key message of our theme. And then the third one is, of course, that we really think that as we head toward trying to recover from all that is going on with COVID, and as we head toward, we hope, some new days ahead soon, that we will find that family meals have formed a great foundation for us upon which to build a healthier nation as we go forward from having had this time and having had this experience together and supported each other through it. In order to help you execute against these themes and against this notion, we have developed some resources. So if we can go to the next slide, please. There are 3 resources that we have that serve as something of a basis. Obviously, there are lots of resources on the Family Meals consumer site, but there are also some that are specific for retailers and for suppliers to execute against. There's a toolbox that is chock full of ideas about how you can apply these messages and how you can help us spread the word of staying strong with family meals. But in terms of resources that undergird some of our thinking on this, I would point you to a report that we just completed and just published about a week and a half ago from FMI about home cooking in 2020. So much of the experience during COVID-19 has been pushing us back into the kitchens and experiencing home cooking. And one of the learnings from COVID-19 has been that it's given us a reason, a kind of a latent, to release our latent desire for home cooking and our steady desire for more family meals together. It has released that and given us that opportunity. Also, one of the resources that we would point you to is our COVID-19 Family Meals resource page. That is chock full of ideas. We have gathered them from some of you. We've solicited those and we have posted those, giving credit where credit is due for where the ideas are coming from. And we have some 9 different categories of areas where people are seeking out resources and seeking some help in terms of coping with that family meal fatigue, but also the desire for new ideas and to be more creative, both with the use of leftovers, but also more creative and inventive with some new tastes and some interesting dishes, because we've all experienced running through our own family meal repertoire several times now, and so we're looking for some new experiences. And also, last but not least, is a report that we published earlier this year by Dr. Shannon Robson of Delaware, University of Delaware, which cites the scientific data supporting my 2 assertions earlier that family meals are healthier and family meals are better for family functioning. And so with that, I hope that you will support us and let us support you in terms of making this September the best family meals month that we could have. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Shelley, and be glad to answer any questions later if there are any that surface. Thanks so much.
Thank you, David. This I love what you said about family meals, and I think that there's a lot of people on the webinar today who are very supportive. It dovetails so nicely with what we're trying to do with the recipes. There's just a lot of opportunities. So, and I hope you'll see, there's a lot of resources that are easily accessible online. So please remember to ask your questions, and me and David will make sure you feel ready for promoting family meals and food safety in September. We're We're going to go right into a video about the contest, and then remember to start some dialogue by posting a question or posting to chat. Okay.
Have you spent the last few months perfecting your favorite 30-minute meal? Great. Now enter to win the Partnership for Food Safety Education's National Safe Recipe Contest. Your winning recipe could be shared with thousands of other people. What's a safe recipe? It's a recipe that includes simple food safety steps, so when you or anyone uses the recipe, you'll be reducing your risk of food poisoning. Research shows that safe recipes work. 90% of people wash their hands using recipes with safety instructions, while only 59% wash their hands using a recipe without a safety prompt. PFSE's Safe Recipe Style Guide walks you through the process of writing a safe recipe. If you're a health educator, a food writer, a kid with a passion for cooking, or work for a food retailer or grocery store, you'll want to enter. It's easy to do. Simply go to our website, submit your original main dish recipe written using a Safe Recipe Style Guide and a high-quality photo. While you're there, check out our site. We have tons of simple, shareable food safety information, including kid-friendly recipes, games, and activities. Category winners will receive a cash prize of $50 and be featured in an online cookbook distributed to thousands of people through fightback.org. One grand prize winner will receive a total cash prize of $100, be featured in the Safe Recipes online cookbook, and see their winning recipe developed into a professionally produced video in English and Spanish. How cool is that? Winners will be announced in September 2020 during an online event. Don't forget to follow us and tell us you entered. And sign up for our email so you won't miss any news about the contest. Bang your pots and pans and get ready to enter your recipe before the deadline of August 17th, 2020. All the information you need is on our website. Delicious and safe. Be sure to enter, and good luck.
Thank you. Thanks, Michelle. We're hoping there's people on the webinar today who are interested in the contest. So let's talk about if you're needing some inspiration. Don't overthink it. Use an easy weeknight meal. The whole idea here is that we're producing recipes that families can make quickly. To David's point, maybe they're healthy recipes and they're going to have food safety prompts in them. So just submit your family's favorite. Maybe you can add in the food safety prompts. That's an important part of this, but it doesn't need to be a fancy recipe. You have got this. There is something you make that your family loves or your friends love, and it's going to be just the thing that someone else needs for inspiration. I don't know, David, we didn't talk about fatigue with home food preparation, but it, people sometimes want some inspiration. And we're going to give that to thousands of people through this contest. So if I'd love to start some chat too. Do you have a favorite recipe? Do you have a simple go-to thing that when you make it, everybody's like, oh, I love this. And you love it because it's easy. So type that into the chat if you do. Next, please. So again, a reminder on contest notes, it's a main dish prepared in 30 minutes or less with common ingredients. Our entry deadline is August 17th. That's pretty soon, but this is also super easy to enter. I think if you paid attention to the prizes, personally, I love the idea that a recipe that I love to make would be made into a beautiful professional video. We have a fantastic company out of Minneapolis. This is what they do. They make beautiful videos. And they are going to produce a video of the winning question. So next, September 9th, we're going to announce the winners. And we're going to show you a video that we've produced for Story of Your Dinner. It's brand new. You're the first ones to see it. And it's a great recipe. I think this is the Spanish version. Is that what we're going to play? Looks like it. Okay. Okay, so you definitely, if you love to cook, you definitely want your favorite recipe made into a beautiful video like that. Okay, so if you want some ideas for how to actually edit your recipe, we have a page full of recipes of all types where this has been done. So it's just a good way, to check on your editing work. Fightback.org/safe recipes. Lots of stuff there. And also consider using this page to promote during Food Safety Education Month. That sounds good too. This is a great page for consumers because it takes them right to recipes they can download. All right, so let's ask you, are you ready and excited to enter the contest? Do you have your recipe picked out? Are you feeling inspired? Or are you just sitting out all this delicious 30-minute meal contest? So we'll leave this poll up about 30 seconds. Please answer, and then we'll show the results to everybody. And remember to type in your questions. We're going to get to those in a minute. Are you planning to enter the contest? What do you say to that? Okay, Michelle, let's see what people had to say. Oh my goodness, we need more people to enter. And I'm glad we've inspired you today. It's a great thing to do. It's fun. You'll get your gorgeous recipe produced into a video. You'll get a cash prize. And you're also going to be contributing to just the number of recipes that consumers have access to. So please get ready to enter the contest. Backfighters are one of our special categories to enter. All right, I want a final reminder before we get to questions. As Katie said, be the first to hear about new resources and the latest information. Be on our email list. That is really our primary way we get to you a lot of usable, downloadable stuff. And if any of you have comments about that, please post those if you're a regular user of our website. So fightback.org/sign up to make sure you're on that list. And next, I think we're getting close to questions. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to look here in my teeny tiny little box here. Will the slides be sent out? The slides will be posted and the webinar gets posted to our recorded webinars section at fightback.org. All right. Okay. Someone's asked about a breakfast recipe. I'd say if the breakfast recipe could be a supper recipe, meaning, it's a breakfast burrito, or it's an egg dish, it's a frittata, something like that. That probably we would qualify that. And the page for the contest gives a lot of information about qualifying to enter. It's really not complicated. So someone asked about copyright. Does it matter if the original recipe comes from a cookbook? I would say that's not your recipe then. You would want to credit them. We do use recipes from other sources. We always credit them. So I'd say it could be an issue though, as far as
Shelley,
making it. Yes.
Can I jump on and share
Sure.
the official that?
Okay.
Right. You may use other recipes for inspiration, but you need to make your own unique ingredient and cooking instructions for that recipe. So you need to have added something or changed something, but you can use a recipe as inspiration.
Oh, thank you, Katie. Katie's on top of this, man. Okay. Someone asked about frozen vegetables. I think they're asking about handling for frozen vegetables. A beautiful frozen foods, and as educators, I think the number one thing we can advise to consumers about all kinds of frozen foods is to always follow the package instructions. The manufacturers want you to enjoy the product and also to enjoy it safely. So following package instructions. So if, say, a frozen vegetable package says it should be cooked before you eat it, or, to cook it, then it should be cooked and not used raw or just thawed in a recipe. That's definitely something, as for food safety folks, we want to begin to get consumers to always pay attention to package instructions. So the web address to access the lesson plan. Katie, maybe you want to get Michelle to type that into the chat so everybody has it, and it'll be on the slide set. All right, I'm looking here for some other questions. I have to scroll away here. How can I get my recipes nutritional facts? Well, that generally would have to be done by a nutrition professional. We have a number of recipes where we have not published nutrition facts. That would be something we'd love to do with all our recipes. It's not required to enter the contest. We are looking for entree recipes. We're looking for 30-minute meal recipes. This is awesome. Is this something that can be used by SNAP-Ed? I love that there's some folks from SNAP-Ed on this webinar. We believe, and we'd love you to advocate with USDA, that all of the recipes provided for the food and nutrition programs through USDA, that the safe recipe prompts are a great thing to add. That really helps working moms with getting access to the kind of simple recipes with the food safety prompts where we might see a more consistent behavior. And again, consider even if we were improving hand washing and thermometer use, could be really important for families with young children. So the criteria for winning the contest, Katie, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because we are going to have we'll have a process for judging, and there's information on that at the contest page. Katie, you want to talk about?
Yeah, I can hop on and talk about that. And I would encourage you to go to the page, because we do have like a detailed list of the official rules for the contest and everything you need to know to be able to enter. The website for that is fightback.org/recipe contest. So the judging is based on taste, that's 25%, visual appeal, 25%, creativity, 25%, and crowd appeal, 25%. And if you go to the website, it lists in more detail what creativity and crowd appeal mean. And it needs to be a 30-minute meal. So something you could use as a main course for a family, even if that's a breakfast food, as long as it's something you could use as a main course, that will be accepted. And you'll want to make sure that you've really followed the safe recipe style guide in order to be considered. So, watch the video that we made, go to the Safe Recipe Guide website, and make sure you've included all those steps.
Yeah, thank you, Katie. And don't be intimidated by it, because it's, we're not going to reject entries for a minor thing. Our interest is really, it's not a test. Our interest is in producing more recipes, and also, getting more of you all to take a look at how safe recipes can be a tool for consumers. Someone asked about 30-minute prep or 30-minute cooking time. We're not going to be super picky on that. We're not going to literally time them seriously, but I'd say 30-minute prep, or no, probably 30-minute overall time, right, Katie?
Yeah, I would say 30-minute overall time. I mean, roughly. Yeah, like you said, we're not going to time it, but it shouldn't go at 60 minutes when we say 30.
Yeah, because we're trying to really offer these as a way for families to try something new, or if they have fatigue of what they have been making. So we do want to keep it fairly short. Okay, Wonderful questions, great engagement. Let's move on because we are coming up on the end of our time together. We're now on almost all the social media platforms. I will say that on Instagram at safe.recipes, we're doing a lot around the contest and around recipes and this whole topic, safe recipes. Pinterest also. These new tools for kids will definitely be posted at Pinterest. If you're a teacher, I would urge you to contact Katie because we have a special teachers list where we produce a newsletter just for teachers, and we really want to add you to it. Next. All right, Katie, let's see if we have our winner with us. And how will this person need to enter into chat? Maybe they have to tell Michelle if they're present.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
great.
So
Yeah.
we're going to name the person we're about to name. If they're not present, we will draw another name. So let's get started. Who's our
Yeah.
winner?
So the name is Erin Casey. Erin Casey. So Erin, if you're here, please send a message to Michelle or to the panelists so that we know that you're here.
Yeah, put it into chat. Let us know you're here. And again, the winner today is getting our services to edit your recipe so that's ready to enter into the contest. We're happy to do it to save you a step. Okay, somebody's typing. Okay, is this person here? We may not know for a minute. Might have to move on and come back. Erin Casey. E-R-I-N. Okay, let's go to the next slide and we'll come back to our winner.
Michelle just said she's not here.
Okay, draw again.
Okay. Sherry, and I apologize for not being able to pronounce this last name, Cirignano, C-I-R-I-G-N-A-N-O. Sherry.
Sherry's with Rutgers University. Are you here, Sherry?
Maybe we can go to the next slide while we wait for her to reply.
Let's go to the next slide. Hopefully Sherry's here so we can congratulate her. Okay, final reminder, contest deadline, August 17th. You guys are all awesome recipe creators, so enter and we're gonna build more recipes, we're gonna build excitement, and we're gonna have a very cool event on September 9th where we announce the winners. And so mark your calendar for that. Next. Final reminder about CEUs, because I know how important that is to you all. You can download it right now. I can see them right under handouts. They're sitting right here. Easy to get them now, or wait for the follow-up email, or wait till we record or we put this webinar up on our recorded webinar section. If you've been to our website, you'll see we overhauled it. So you might need a minute more than usual to find under our recorded webinars, but there are a lot of great things there. Okay, let's go to the next slide and then let's try to announce the third runner-up for the winner. I have our third runner-up, Nancy Kissinger, Greene County Public Health. Nancy, if you're here, let us know. And I want to thank David again, both for making time to be with us here. I want to thank him for his leadership in food safety education. FMI is an outstanding partner and supporter. I can tell you food retailers care deeply about this, are very involved. David, are you still on audio so we can just
Yes, I am.
say goodbye and stay safe? And thank you also for the great effort with Stay Strong with family meals. I know a lot of people are going to be interested in doing some social media on that.
Great. And my wish and hope for everyone listening is that they are able to stay strong with family meals.
Yes, thank you. It's a great initiative.
Thank you.
All right. And next, Nancy Kissinger, if you're here, make sure and let us know so we can give you your prize. The story of your dinner is coming up. We had so much packed into this webinar, we didn't even get to some of the amazing stuff we're doing for Story of Your Dinner this year. The recipe video you saw today is brand new. That's part of the new campaign. But Story of Your Dinner campaign this year, we're going to have a number of cool new things. We're going to have a great live action short video that's really about how households can protect young children at home, why food safety is so important for babies and toddlers. So that's coming too. So stay tuned, get on our email list so you can hear all about those things. Our tier 2 partners do so much to make possible the work of the partnership, including webinars like this. So I want to salute Cargill, the FMI Foundation, NSF International, and the Produce Marketing Association. For a full list of who's involved in the partnership and all the great support they give us, go to fightback.org and you can find it there. And let's build safe recipes. Everything you need is on the website. And follow us on social media. We're talking about the contest a lot. We really want you involved. So thank you for coming today and listening in on this. How to enter. All right, I think we'll wrap it up.
Okay. We have a winner that I believe is on here. Michelle checked it for us. Ginny Day, Ginnie, Ginny Day.
Okay, great.
Please verify and we'll get you your prize.
Congrats. We're going to edit your recipe and make it a safe recipe. All right, next. I think we've come to the end of our slides. We've come to the end of our time together. Appreciate you guys always. So much great stuff is going on in the partnership. We are going to have a conference in early 2021, so stay in touch. A lot of good stuff. Thank you for the work you do to keep families safe. Thank you, David. Thanks, Katie. Thanks, Michelle. And have a great rest of your week.